Hey guys, my name is Deborah, and welcome to the very first installment of my YouTube channel. And we're calling this YouTube channel Demeter Finds Her Way. Now, Demeter was a goddess in ancient Greek mythology. And why Demeter? Why does that speak to me? Why should it matter to anybody? So Demeter was the goddess of agriculture and fertility, more productivity. She was a mother figure, and she adored her beautiful daughter, Persephone. So what happens in this story is, Persephone was beautiful, young, and of course, Hades, the god of the underworld, falls in love with Persephone. So he kidnaps her. She's out gathering flowers with her friends, and the earth opens up. He rides out in his chariot with his black horses, grabs her, and drags her back to the underworld. Happened so fast that her friends didn't even know what happened or where she went. So Demeter searches everywhere looking for Persephone, trying to find her daughter. And so Zeus, who was the king of the gods, he knew exactly what happened to Persephone. He knew exactly where she was. Nobody wanted to tell Demeter because she had a temper. So Demeter, when they finally told Demeter where Persephone was, she was so mad. She wanted her daughter back. She was so mad she went on strike. And the crops failed. The world became dark and cold and barren. And now Persephone was also not terribly happy about being snatched up, or rather snatched down to the underworld. But Hades loved her, and Zeus had actually said he could marry her. That's why he came and snatched her in the first place. But in order to keep the earth from being destroyed, Zeus said that she could come back to Demeter if she had not eaten anything in the underworld. So, depending on whose version of the story in ancient Greek you read, Hades either tricked Persephone or Persephone just did it. She ate a few pomegranate seeds, and so they decided that she could return to Demeter on the earth, but she had to return. She had to spend part of the year in the underworld with her husband and part of the year above ground with her mother. So this is one way that they explain the changing of the seasons. Was fall and winter, Demeter is pouting because Persephone's gone, and then spring, she's coming back. So why is this story important? Why is this story important? So part of it is that as Persephone grew to adulthood, Demeter's life changed. It changed as well as Persephone's. And the world was almost destroyed by her grief at this change that was coming. She had to find a way, the whole world had to find a way actually, to continue with the new state of things. And Persephone had her own challenges. She found herself in a difficult situation that was not of her own doing and not her own choice. But she made the best of it, and she eventually came to love Hades. So she found love, she found peace, and she found power as the queen of her own realm. So I decided to call my channel Demeter Finds a Way, as part of looking at my journey through my 50s. Now, I am not new to my 50s, but I'm still not happy with them. Let's just put it right out there. Even though I always worked outside the home for wages while my kids were growing up, my identity was wrapped up in being their mom. That was who I was. In fact, I can remember being at Boy Scout at Cub Scout day camp, and those little guys running around behind me going, Miss David's mom, Miss David's mom, can you help me with something? And for a very long part of my life, my identity was Miss David's mom or Miss Rachel's mom. That was who I was, even though I was also wife, nurse, employee, daughter. My identity was primarily wrapped up in mom. And that's how I saw myself. But, one day you wake up and they're grown and they still need me, but not the way they did. Not in the way that they did. So I had to grieve that in order to meet them on the ground and be the mom they need me to be at this point in their lives. So I had a lot of things to figure out. I'm still trying to figure some of this out. And a lot of things have changed in my life since my kids got all grown. And probably in the last 7 to 10 years, my life has changed radically. There's been a lot of change. I finished my master's degree. I finished my PhD. I left hospital nursing after 30 years and moved into academic nursing. So I went from working 12-hour shifts at the hospital to being a professor, an assistant professor. That's where you start. You start at the bottom of the tree. So going back to being the newbie, we sold our house and moved to a different state. My parents are becoming older and more frail. And so those are all changes that are going on as I'm going through my 50s. My dad had a bout with melanoma. I got religion about sunscreen. I stopped having to be at work at 6:30 in the morning, so I started playing with makeup. I looked in the mirror one day and it was like, what the heck happened here? How did this happen? So, I felt like I went from an English rose to faded magnolia, which, if you don't know anything about magnolia blossoms, when they fade, they get kind of, they're pale and wrinkly and have brown splotches. And that's how I felt when I looked in the mirror. So one of the goals of this channel is to help make connections and links between women who are stumbling along, sorry, my cat is having a moment. Women who are stumbling along, and I think we all have moments of stumbling. Whether you find yourself as a Demeter, whether you find yourself as a Persephone. Some days I feel like one, some days I feel like the other one, and some days I just feel like the Furies and wanting to wreak havoc everywhere I go. I don't know what exactly we'll talk about on this channel every time. We may talk about aging, we may talk about family, we may talk about gender issues. Because as women age in most societies, our roles change, but our value changes as well. Our value to society changes. We may even talk about football, because I do love me some SEC football. My daughter is a graduate of the University of Georgia. I have graduated from both the University of Alabama and the University of South Carolina. So I do love me some red teams in the SEC, no orange teams, just the red teams. So if you think that this channel, these conversations might be of some interest to you, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm not sure right now how often I'm going to put a video up. Probably at least 2, 3, 4 times a month. That's kind of what I'm guessing. We'll see. We'll see what I have to talk about. Put suggestions in the comments below if there's a topic you'd like to talk about. But go ahead and hit subscribe and get the notification bell so you don't miss anything. when I upload. So welcome to Demeter Finds Her Way, and go Dogs, roll Tide, and please do better this year, Gamecocks. All right, see y'all later.